without their what many would see as the most important player in your team.
It's just like you need that central voice from the captain, but I think what's becoming more and more common, and you're saying with VP, I think they do it best, is like if every single player knows exactly when they're strong, what they want to do, like how to play the game, there's a lot that doesn't need to be said, so you don't necessarily need the captain
to find those kind of
yeah, and I'm saying like that's like I think they're going to become more and more of them as time goes on, but like right now it's very few teams that actually have it.
Yeah. It's like the Chinese teams have a feel like I think Super is one of those players that's like that.
Yeah.
He's like very similar to like I feel like no one, maybe not playstyle, but the talks that Bada I think players SCCC. I heard he like.
So BSJ, your Leviathans, they're playing Virtus Pro tomorrow, best of 5. You get to choose one player that VP doesn't have on their team. Who would it be then? It doesn't sound like it's
no
solo
one for sure. I think like they're all super really good, but no one's like I don't know if you ever like watch a stream, but whenever I watch it, like there's very few players who I'll watch their stream and just be like, holy crap, like they're actually just so good. Like obviously there's plenty of players I'm impressed by, but he like when he's on stream, like every single lane, every single game, he just like approaches all stages so correctly, and I just think he's fundamentally, honestly, the best player, maybe in the world.
Simel at TI5, it's like a funny story. Like Simel respected 2 mid players at TI5. It was no one and maybe. And if you remember CDC from TI5, before they were in the wildcards, the only team they had trouble beating besides EG at that tournament was the team that no one was on, which was Vega. They almost lost to them in the wildcards. And if you watch the games, no one like completely shit on them in 2 games. It was pretty funny.
You remember OG when they played at was it like it was Frankfurt Major, and in the groups they ended up losing to Vega, and it was because like no one. He was like the only person that was having a good amount of success against Miracle. Yeah, but we're in the OG versus Fnatic.
Yeah, we got a draft. We'll switch attention now, focus in on the other semi-final.
No Wyvern. That's the first comment I noticed is Wyvern yet.
I'm confused. Actually, why is there first 2 Naga?
They like it though.
First 2 though?
Yeah, they do it all the time with like what's the mid hero? Shadowfeed?
I've seen Naga Mirana used to be a thing, but then Mirana kind of was bad.
Also Nightstalk, we haven't seen him that much in this tournament.
Yeah, I feel like the only team that prioritized him was VP.
Yeah.
Which is weird because I think they said that they felt like this hero is a bit limited. It's like a strong hero, but it has to be a killer. Like the only way you make this hero work is it has to go around getting kills. I think you told me, Sam, once like you played in a game, you have like a 20-minute ags, and then you just watch people go high ground on you, and you don't provide enough team fight.
Yeah, that's the problem with the hero. His laning phase is also like he's not as good as the other like heroes. Till 4 minutes, so.
Is it possible that this Naga's a core, or are you pretty sure it's a 4?
I think I feel like the reasoning they picked this is because is what I said in the start. Like
10 seconds.
Fnatic has kind of been only winning when they win the lanes, and the Naga support, he's like one of the strongest laners in the game. If you remember AG at TF5, AI would just go offlane with the Naga on the 4 and like you know, high armor. Riptide I think got buffed. Like the Illusion Naga got nerfed, right? But Riptide got really buffed. So in some ways, support Naga has been buffed in the past few patches. I think Misery is like the only player that I've seen play support. He was playing when he was on Optic, he would pick Naga support.
So I don't understand this Underlord pick at all, to be honest. Like, I'm not flaming it. I just do you guys have any idea?
This hero Fnatic, like a highest, like been playing it for months now. Like it's one of their top offlane heroes. So seems like a comfort pick. It's pretty good at taking Roche. Talk about being on the dire side when you secure that Roche.
He's a imbalanced laner. If you 1v1 him versus like every offlaner, he actually beats every lane.
Yeah, the passive's insane.
So the reason that Fnatic likes this hero is because I said like they like winning the lanes, and if they pick Underlord, they can send him safe lane versus the offlaner, go aggro. They can send him offlaner with like a pilot eye hero, and he's just like really chaotic in the lanes. If you watch every Underlord game the last like few days, you remember like the Underlord has always these high last hits, right?
Yeah.
But the problem with this hero is he doesn't do much compared to other heroes that gets a lot of farm. Like you give a lot of farm to a hero like Beastmaster or for even Omni Knight, but like Underlord, he doesn't really have that much kill potential, right? He just kind of pushes lanes and gets fat. but he's like a super strong laner, which is why Fnatic love picking him.
They picked him like pretty much every game, I think. I guess that's the only reason. I in terms of putting it into the draft, just a comfort zone thing. They know what they're doing with it.
And also, what God said is true. Like he secures you Roche because his Q spell is like
that's insane.
Super good on Roche. So.
They both need a 5, something we don't see too often. Neither of them have picked a 5 yet.
You watched the series OG versus who was the team they played last night? Complexity.
Yeah.
Like I thought that series was like a battle of who got Wyvern. And like finally, OG first picked the Wyvern, so it's interesting to see like suddenly they're not picking, because I think their 2 favorite 5s were Wyvern and Shadow Demon, right?
Yes.
I feel like OG's game plan centers a lot on Fly's 5 hero.
I think the Shaman too. They maybe even played the Shaman more than those 2.
Do we? I'm like 100. I'm pretty sure, and I don't know. You guys think that this next pick's gonna be one of those 3 heroes?
Yes, it should be. That's why I feel like Envy should have banned Wyvern and Shadow Demon instead of Undying plus whatever. Because I feel like yesterday OG got exposed. If you watch their drafts, like when they didn't have the Wyvern, the SD, or the Rasta, I feel like they've lost a lot of the games. Like they picked like Phoenix 5 or something. Like what else is he gonna play? Like I think there's maybe AA, but AA is banned. They banned AA, so I feel like Envy should have banned the Wyvern or the Shadow Demon. And now he gets a free one of those 2, unless he has something else completely different. But that's how I take OG at least this tournament.
I like Wyvern already against like the high strength heroes, but
SD is really good right now with Tiny. That combo is insanely strong.
Yes.
10 seconds remaining.
You also kill Underlord really easily.
Yeah, he's good against tanky core.
5 seconds remaining.
Open that present. Now that I think about it, the Underlord's really good against Tiny, just because of like the passive reducing the base damage Tiny has, even as the game goes on, grow being bit.
I guess for OG, the Tiny is rarely like their main carry though. That's normally like No Tails hero. He goes to like a drums into Blink, create space while Rezo's playing like the hard farmer.
Yeah.
Shadow Fiend, Medusa. Medusa's still in the pool, by the way.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like I feel like Envy didn't do his research, because like if you ban one of the 2, like OG takes it and you can't take it. So now his concept is maybe he wanted to trade entirely.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why he didn't ban it. But I feel like they've lost every game when they haven't had one of those 5s. I feel you just ban both, and then they've won with like Rubik's and stuff, right? Like Fnatic has a bigger hero pool on the 5.
I agree.
So they kind of gave them this SD Tiny combo, which I think is insanely strong, like throughout the game, because you take the counter to Tiny, right?
Yeah, it's
I think SD is very good versus Tiny, and you give him a hero, like you give the save, and the disruptions on the Tiny, like when you're allied, it's really strong. You have super high burst in lane, and yeah, so I'm liking OG's game plan, like whatever Fly and Sebastian gets effing mad talked about, like this Naga support, which I think it is. They picked it purely to secure No Tail's lane.
You may not see Sebastian or fucking mad in the room, but he is drafting. He is still coaching remotely.
Yeah, remote.
So, he's got shared screen or Skype audio.
Yeah,
they use.
And if you read his Twitter, like he something cool he's doing is like he's able to listen to all the casts too from home.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you watch a lot of these casts that like some players have been like talking. And like there's a lot of stuff you can learn. Like I feel like yesterday he was tweeting like I really love listening to Lil cast. And if you watch,
he wanted more of Lil's cast.
Yeah, if you listen to Lil and Noah and talk, like you can learn a lot about how Virtus Pro think, because they were talking a lot about denying and the lanes and stuff.
That meant a lot. That was insane to hear.
And it's like suddenly Jirax is gonna probably play this Naga hero, and it kind of suits everything. So I'm thinking like they had a long talk, and like fucking man's like, yo, Lil talked about all this, or maybe just like he is like, I have this strong opinion, and now you can see it in their draft. So
I don't particularly love the Weaver pick myself. It's like one of the better laners against Brew, because you can like still last hit if you're Drunken Haze with Sakuchi, and you have enough mana because of stick. But they lack lockdown on the side of Fnatic, and they lack carry as well, and they definitely need some semblance of a carry, and they don't have absolute last pick, so I feel like whatever hero they pick is just going to get lane countered. I don't love the pick. They do have a high pace lineup though. I don't know what you think.
Do you think they lack catch then outside of Fnatic?
I think on Fnatic,
like, isn't it awkward for them to start
Yeah, but they've kind of had this in all their drafts, right? Like their support. When you pick Underlord offlane, that's kind of the problem you have, right? And then they've been playing like Rubik ET every game, and Rubik's there, but like Rubik is better than Wyvern at starting fights, right? So I see what Blitz is saying. I also agree with what BSJ said about like the Weaver, but I can see the reasoning because Weaver is one of the best heroes in lane versus Panda. Because Panda generally how S4 plays is he just drunken hazes the carry, but Weaver can farm with the Sakuchi through it, and he also benefits from Lawand versus Panda. So, like I said, Envy, he literally, the way he's been drafting this tournament is literally just caring about the lanes. So you can see it in his draft. Like they have this Underlord Nightstalker duo offlane, which is really strong. Then you have the Wyvern that can help the Weaver or the mid hero, and then you have like the Weaver that doesn't really die to Panda in lane. So if Fnatic don't win these lanes right now with the lineup that OG has, I feel OG has advantage. But it's like the whole concept, if Fnatic can win these lanes, which they've been doing every game they've won, they have a fairly good shot.
Is Medusa not their pick? Like just like a hard. Don't they need a hard carry in the mid lane?
Yes, they should definitely pick Medusa, but I don't know if Abed generally plays that hero.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like his style, but he is like usually the solo carry of the game hero. Usually more flashy heroes like the Tinkers, which has already been banned out second round. I just feel like they need a late gamer. And
he wants Tinker.
They banned Terrorblade. Well, Tinker's banned.
Oh, actually,
they banned Terrorblade, which means Medusa's maybe even more.
Yeah, it is a decent counter. Goes both ways, though.
Yeah. Why do you think Medusa's been ignored this far? Like, we've seen a lot of Medusas picked up very early in the draft, and it's been talked about as being one of the top meta heroes right now.
The more they get picked, like, the more teams figure it out. So they're, you know, went to first pick, second pick, because people were like, wow, how do we beat this hero? And then suddenly these were strats that beat the hero and worked, like, came to fruition. So then they're like, we'll wait. And it's still, like, a good hero, like, very good. And it has to be considered in your draft, but it's not as, like, it kind of goes from late picks to first picks because people don't know how to counter it, then people learn how to counter it.
But I feel like as a hero gets, like, picked more and more with Death Prophet.
Oh, I actually thought that DP was gonna be picked by OG because it like doesn't really care about the Night Stalker. It's a Yule's builder too, which I think is really good against OG's lineup. And OG needs like wave clear too. Like I feel like they need outspam.
They're gonna pick Medusa.
Snipers might be Invoker. Oh, okay. Yeah, hero that sits in the back was my idea, but it's not exactly what I thought. They do have a lot of setup. Naga Net, Shadow Demon Disruption, or the Sunstrikes.
Rezzo's been trying to make this hero work. I've seen him so many times just in the watch tab playing Invoker. They played it once and won with an MDL, but it's a tough hero to play right now.
Yeah, it's because he OG classic, right? Every mid player before him on that team has like been the best Invoker in the world, right? So he just wants to follow.
Yeah.
I like how OG has kind of adapted their drafts throughout this tournament, and I feel like the way they pick around Tiny now is like really good. We talked about previous series how like they don't play it as a one position on no one, even though whatever lane he goes to, sometimes mid, sometimes safe lane. It's like a hero that's just guaranteed to get a good lane and then does its job but doesn't really carry the game. So I really like how they have these like 4 heroes that run around the map doing stuff, and then Invoker.
The lane is really important because how it should be is that I think they're going to let S4 solo, and they're going to sit there with SD, Tiny, Naga, and literally their game plan is to like stroke like no tail, stroke his Tiny. Sorry.
Stroke that big stick of
stroke
his.
That big stick of his Tiny. But,
yes.
And like they have Sunstrike with the disruption, and yeah, so
I think they need help mid at least a little bit. I think it'll be Naga though in the mid lane to start.
Yeah.
Just to like kind of serve as a damage soak because of the high armor, and like otherwise Night Stalker can kind of just bully the Invoker away. Like past the early few levels, I think Invoker will do well. They just have to be wary of him like feeding at nighttime because they do have the Wyvern Night Stalker roam, and DP's pretty strong with like level 4 or 5.
So they've got good sets for the Sunstrike. Ensnare, Shadow Demon Disruption, kill potential that make it a good Invoker game. Outside of that, like what makes this like a good game to be picking Invoker, other than the fact you do have Sunstrike kill opportunity?
He's just a hero that like doesn't want to play with the team early on in the game, and they have a bunch of heroes that create space. They have Brewmaster on S4 and No Tail on Tiny, like 2 heroes that team fight and pressure towers. So then you just have this hero that needs to make use of that space. The other day they picked Arc Warden, and today that's just their playstyle. And Resolution being one of like the top farming players, honestly, in the world, makes use of that space better than anybody. So he's just a hero that's scaled. Like, they have no lockdown on Fnatic, literally no lockdown, and the counter to Invoker's like getting on him and bursting him. So I actually think OG's draft. I heavily favor OG's draft here.
I think Fnatic is on a timer. Like, I look at the cores on Fnatic, and all 3 of them easily die to Tiny. Something I learned from BSJ, actually. He's talking about how to counter Tiny, and Tiny is weak versus like the cores you can't burst. That's why Medusa is kind of good versus Tiny, right? So I look at the cores on Fnatic's side, and I feel he can kind of burst, especially the Weaver and the DP.
Wow.
So,
learning something new every day, Sam.
Thank you, BSJ.
Thank you.
Well, you've got the promo code.
30 seconds.
I know some
to
stuff, but I've actually learned so much at this tournament. Just being around these players has been awesome.
You guys should just start charging people instead of paying them to be here.
Oh, yeah.
That's a new way, yeah. So when it comes cast at Summit, that'll cost you $20 a day.
Annoying, but also like the reason they want this Invoker, he's a win condition, right? So they want, like, generally OG, they always want resolution on the win condition hero. They don't want to give No-Till they want No-Till to be like the playmaking player, and they want resolution to be Terrorblade. I guess he like lost faith in Medusa or something. They lost like a game or 2 with him. But
Yeah, they didn't have good success.
yeah, Invoker's like a win condition hero. My problem with this hero is like, he has a lot of the same weaknesses like Anti-Mage has in some way. Like, he's a hero that needs like this fast, like, he's like Arcor in some sense too. Like, you need this like high level, and like you need your like 2 or 3 items before you can really fight. And before that, you're kind of like, you're not really that useful at fighting.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have no purpose game besides farming. That's why even like the best Invoker players, like, they don't really play the hero anymore. Like, you stop picking him, I think. Even Newbie like stopped. Liquid as well. I don't think they really picked him that much at Dream League. So
Seems like one game every now and then when Liquid's really in a roll, they might bust it out, but it's not stable pick up.
Because the meta's gone so fast, and Invoker's like a 20-minute hero. Like, you're playing a game essentially without your mid-hero for 15-20 minutes. Like, SCCC said this hero has like one of the weirdest like curves ever. Because for 15 minutes, he's essentially useless. Like, Sunstrike's nice, but a lot of other heroes could make kills happen around the map, like Bob. But this hero becomes so strong in the late game. But in the early game, does very, very little. All he does is hit neutral creeps.
Are you on OG side for this draft? Well, we haven't got the predictions fully in.
I think Fnatic can win this game, because I could see a very real scenario where they just keep ganking mid repeatedly. If they take the mid tower and the bottom tower before like 12-minute mark, I'd say I favor their chances, because then they can just limit the amount of space that Invoker has. You ward the camp with the shrine on it on the left side, and then Invoker can't really farm. Like, he's got to touch lanes.
I don't like the way that Fnatic is looking. I feel like Fnatic needs to give Abed a good lane, and they're not really helping him mid. And he has like 1 last hit, and Invoker has 4 to 3. It's on the Invoker's hill too, and now Naga's just gonna heal and run at the again. I feel like the DP. And if I look at Fnatic's draft, there's one hero that needs a good start. It's Death Prophet. Like, this Unroller with a good start, what is he gonna do with it? It's this problem with the hero. But like, if this Death Prophet gets shut down, which is happening to him right now, like, they don't really have a hero that can make space on the map. So,
This Brewmaster's just gonna keep throwing Drunken Haze at Weaver, limit his farm. So it's not really being contested at all.
you can see, like, you know, OG are understanding this, like, as well, picking this Naga support. Like, look at the denies on the Invoker. I look so much at the denies now when I look at this last hit screen. I never really looked at it before.
Well, they didn't matter nearly as much as they do now.
Kind of shows who's got the edge in a lane. Like, often in the mid matchup, you'll have 2 heroes who can get last hits. Like, a DK is going to spam his fire, but if one hero's getting all the denies, clearly they're having the upper hand there with the extra support.
Massive level advantage from denies. And like in the previous patches, if you had a hero with you and you got every single deny, you still got out leveled. But that's not the case anymore. Denies just give you nothing.
Yeah, not to count the confusion. Dire scan, does he knows.
They can go on him, right?
He walks up, but he seems to be aware of what's going on here.
Yeah.
But this is like, it's still not good. It doesn't feel good. Like, this hero needs to get a decent lane. Like, Death Prophet is not a good comeback hero. But the good Death Prophet is like that fast phase, you know, Yules, blah blah blah, that runs at your towers and runs and kills you. But this is like the DP that's losing his lane.
I
It
love
feels
these
like
support
shit.
movements by OG.
They want to set up a Sunstrike at bottom.
You said they were just going to leave the Brewmaster to his own devices, and then they're just securing the start for the other 2 cores. Yeah, like you said, they need to prioritize DP on Fnatic, which they're not, and then I think OG has the right priorities on their laning stage.
So, Ishii, being a Tiny player,
Yes.
because I watched you play Tiny the other day, I see every game, like this hero, when he goes safe lane, always like, it doesn't feel like his last hits ever get contested. Like, why is that?
It's if you're a melee hero, he always threatens tosses under tower, and then like also if you're a melee hero, anytime like you go for a last hit, he can actually just miss the deny but hit you at the same time. So he's either getting the deny but also harassing you, and it's like 100 damage. You can't like match up against it. So he just trades really efficiently. So if you contest him, you're like losing the trades guaranteed.
I think that's a broken concept of the hero.
I think it's broken. I think like they used to be increasing. They haven't. Looks like everyone's going to be okay here, but it's like the concept that they gave him a bunch of base damage over like the patches before they changed him, and now they just give him cleave. So now he has like really high base damage and cleave. And I think like what if they actually nerf him, which I believe they will, it'll be his base damage. I think is the problem. If he had like honestly 10 less base damage, I think he'd still be a fine hero, just like not completely broken.
Look at the last hits on this Invoker, man.
The dream.
Abed, so sad right now. Because A, I don't think he enjoys playing this hero that much. And B, kind of getting dumpstered in late game. That's insane CS difference.
You played with him on DC. Was he one of those mids that wanted to have lots of support to come and help him, or did he like being kind of left alone most of the time? What was his style?
He doesn't really say anything, so you have to play off him.
Okay.
But generally, he's a player that's kind of... I didn't really understand it, but like he's a killing player. Like he has like this the Pinoy, like he reminds me a lot of like Cuckoo from TNC.
Yeah.
They're not the exact same player, but they have like he loves playing these Quaps and Pucks and Tinkers and like all these intelligence heroes, and he loves killing you.
He's really good at gauging exactly when he can.
It reminds me a lot of Summel, honestly. He's not like a huge farming player, but he will kill you.
There's the Sunstrike.
Sunstrike setup, yeah.
It's not Rezo getting the kill, but next best thing, your Tiny gets the kill.
And he goes for this bottle pretty much every game on Tiny.
So nice being able to buy it from the secret shop.
Like he wants his core items and farm, and then he like how he plays his Meepa, right? He wants his Blink, and he wants his Dragonlance, and then he's gonna chase you across the map and kill everyone. That's kind of his strength as a player. And now he's playing this Death Prophet. DP, he doesn't really have high solo potential.
Here we go again.
God, Deja Vu Ohio again getting going on, and this time no tell. Again finished off the kill.
Bruh. They invested a lot into that lane too, Fnatic. They dual lane that for quite some time, only for him to die twice.
Yeah.
Like now it's not worth the trade of them giving up on their DP.
Tiny's getting ruined and stuff too, so he's got endless mana supply.
Double damage rune bottom. That's so huge for this hero. With his ult, he's going to hit for 130 with double damage.
Looking really good for OG right now. You can feel it like in the game, like even watching it, like the levels, the networks, like the supports as well, like who's making plays on supports. Like this Night Stalker, it's nighttime. What has he done?
Still sitting top. It feels like in a sense OG of almost won 3 lanes. Like yeah, they're not winning the CS up top, but the fact Brewmaster is getting uncontested last hits and levels is in a sense a win.
I also don't like that Envy's like I don't know if Envy asked Pi to stay here, but I don't like that NS is staying top so long. Like I feel like the reason you pick the Weaver versus the Brew is that the Weaver will last it regardless.
You don't need to help him.
And I feel like this NS is like should have been mid or should have been bottom, and the Wyvern should have been mid. And I feel like that's kind of screwing over Fnatic's game because I feel like this Invoker versus Wyvern Q, like he will actually lose his lane versus DP. Wyvern Q is probably the best level 1 spell in the game, right? I think there's no other spell as good as I feel.
Most damage by far, yeah.
And like the Wyvern used the spell not helping the hero he should have been helping. It should have been the NS bottom or top, the Wyvern starting mid, helping Abed, and then eventually at some point the Night Stalker can rotate mid and they can dive the Invoker. But like suddenly this Invoker is super fat, DP is level 5 when Invoker is level 7, and the game just feels like shit.
And any hero in the game actually in the mid lane cannot lane against that setup with level 7 Invoker. Like Invoker with levels is insanely scary, his damage output.
Now Fnatic, they have no real play option.
Yep.
This is gonna be one of those Night Stalker with 0 kills games, and it's horrible.
Might even die here.
Yeah, we talked about how this hero's a killer. Like that's his main purpose. It's snowball. Help your team out.
They even knew that move was coming mid with the Night Stalker. Like, Jarek's is just sitting there on that hill by the mid tower, just waiting for the Night Stalker to roam in for that play and counters it. They have Sunstrike for this kill, but they do have the kill onto the Night Stalker, and they're going to get a high as well with one more toss. No Tail gets himself a double kill. He's on a dominating streak.
They're going to get more?
Yep. DJ. Could be no more here, no Tail. Kind of low.
That DD's so much value. He's gonna like two-shot him.
Tiny is out of control.
So farmed.
Hey boys, my 2-0, 3-0's still alive.
Hey man,
2-0,
we'll chop it up to an
My
outdraft.
2-0, 3-0.
Something yesterday. I want to talk a bit more about like why it is an outdraft and just say, you know.
No, yeah, no. And I said it during the draft. Was I've said that like they had absolute last pick on OG, and then Fnatic set up this draft where Abed's hero was gonna have to like carry the game. And then since OG has absolute last pick, Abed's gonna get a lack of ideal setup in the laning stage, and that just makes it really hard to win when your win condition has a bad lane.
I mean, you don't even need the Sunstrike, just a straight up solo kill, it looks.
Yeah, but give your boy the last hit.
I mean, he's not giving it to him. If he wants to throw that Sunstrike.
Roman needs to earn that respect to get that, you know. Ana earned the respect and Miracle earned it. Now Roman needs like, you know,
Oh wow, last boulder as he's coming out of his ult.
I mean, at this point, it's well and truly 3 lanes 1. We'll see what Envy can do to rotate and make some plays, but
I don't know their comeback potential. I think they'll eventually have to like force a Roche with DPO because they can't really push towers in the group.
mid lane found the kill for the Invoker possibly here on the Abed. It's just going back.
yeah.
That NS just respawned.
Well, Weaver cleanup, yes, time lapse.
He's trying.
He's going to get a couple of kills here.
Okay.
Don't. Oh, Rest is at the mana.
No mana for Ghost Rock.
Should be fine. Yeah. But, I don't know, Fnatic's draft, their win condition is snowballing lanes and then playing really fast pace with Weaver, Death Prophet course. And Radiant literally just needed to survive lanes. Instead, what happened is Radiant crushed the lanes. And that just looks horrible for Fnatic.
Yeah, if these lanes were opposite, it seemed like as expected. Instead, it's like...
Oh boy.
Naga almost
This was there. This was hoping he ran that direction.
In the other days, OG was drafting these like Shadow Demon court or Shadow Demon supports. These like low damage supports, and my comment was like they had no damage, and they were picking these like Medusas. And I really like the way they've like adjusted their drafts. Now they have Tiny, Brewmaster, Invoker, and like you just have these setups with the 2 supports, which is the way they want to play. And then you have a lot of damage follow-up, and it's actually leading to a lot of early game kills.
The first move coming out from Abed with Exorcism, scouted out by Fly.
just, it feels so bad for Fnatic to play.
That's kind of the comeback play there. If they can get a kill on the Tiny, that's a 5-kill streak.
Fly's gonna live too.
Yeah, a 5-kill streak Tiny into a tower would have been a good chunk of gold.
Dire's top tower.
Not happening.
I mean, honestly, can't he just TP out? You know what I mean? Like, their only stun is Night Stalker Q and Wyvern ult, like, to break TPs.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's like, all their movements are so difficult.
This is why I think, like, catch is so important in this meta of Dota. Like, if you don't have it, you can't really do it.
You have no comeback plays when you're behind.
Yeah, exactly. Like, catch determines whether or not you can start a fight, and starting a fight is usually how you come back in the game. Like, if you get the jump on somebody, then Dota is always even, how I was taught.
That's a good point, yeah.
That's kind of the problem with Fnatic's draft slow blitz, right? Like, they rely so much on winning lanes, they don't really pick that much catch, so if they lose the lanes, they have no comeback, right?
Yeah.
And how do they really come back in this game? They have no jump.
I think Envy can go off. Like,
Yeah.
if Envy goes...
It's so hard though, right? Like, he can't even solo kill any of their supports. Like, the SD's just gonna disrupt him.
And Tiny's
Run
going to
away.
blink now, which is a lot of burst potential onto that Weaver that he's going to be afraid of. He managed to nicely juke it there.
Like, this Weaver ain't... He isn't a... You know, I don't know. It feels like he has to do everything to win this game.
He is not a solo carry hero either.
He's playing really well, though.
Yeah.
He is, for sure.
Like, if they get the kill right now, and I think they should, like, this is a good start. This is their timing window that still exists. Like, if Fnatic get aggressive here, and they abuse the fact that this Invoker can't really fight for this time period, and they take these, like, 4-on-5 engagements, then I could still see them win the game.
It looks like OG still wants to fight.
Towers, that's another problem with DP in this patch, like, the tower armor, the HP got really buffed. So the towers are hard to take.
In one ult, yeah.
Yes, and just overall everything. The towers are hard to take. That means I feel DP generally. Like more of these. That's why you kind of also feel you see like this Medusa mid. Like how do you take Medusa's tower, right? How?
Yeah.
You actually can't. The tower's so tanky. He sits there spamming Mystic Snake. You can't jump him because of his ult and mana shield. That's why honestly this hero is so strong. You can't take his tower mid. It's generally a broken concept.
Oh man,
That feels bad, man.
That's the struggle for this Weaver to carry and turn around this game. This Tiny is ahead with a blink.
net the courier.
Oh,
That's a thing.
Yeah,
Jesus.
Dire's courier has
4-man the courier.
I mean that's like tower gold.
I mean, I guess you can net through BKB, so that makes sense.
Yeah. You can also roar it, right?
Yes, you can roar the courier.
Prophet's level 8 and toward.
And she rotated down and found nothing for like 2 minutes.
So 12 and 9 on the course of Wood. Right now it's so I still want to think about how Fnatic can come back. Like saying like
It's just
so
timing.
hard. Bro, with the
Radiant's top tower
they
is under
need to maybe
attack.
they need to take this top tower,
Dire's bottom
and then they need a
tower is
medallion
under
maybe
attack.
on like their cores, and they need to just Roche with the under.
Radiant
And
are
Weaver needs to
scanning.
take Roche. Need like a
Dire's
beautiful
middle
fight.
tower is under attack.
He's like forced to go Lincolns though, so he's like their solo carry that isn't going damage.
Radiant's
So
top tower is
He's
under
he's
attack.
also quite poor. Like have it soon.
yeah, he's 2,500 gold.
You don't think
behind
they need to
Tiny
take mid tower on Fnatic?
I think they.
I feel it's really
Can't.
hard. I
Yeah.
feel like OG is not dumb. They're not going to give their mid tower for free, right? I think this top tower is free for. I don't feel OG will defend top tower, but OG will defend mid. And you need to, at this point when you're behind, you know, it's like you gotta take what you can get. It's free, you know. You're like you just gotta take the free stuff
Everything's bad, so take the best of the bad.
and make the best out
They
of
just
it.
lost their own mid tower, like pretty uncontested.
Under attack.
I'm just trying to like cut some ways, be cute.
he's got to be so careful with this Tiny coming down here.
He knows too.
They're checking all the tree spots here. No-tell invis will see Envy in a second.
Fast, that was so fast.
Is under attack.
Rough. And now since Weaver died bottom, they're gonna defend top. They're not gonna give this. Now OG's. That's why I feel like Fnatic, they're not really taking top tower. Like they should have already surrounded top tower with Night Stalker. And, maybe Weaver could be doing cute plays bottom, but DP should have already been like hitting top with the Wyvern. Maybe Wyvern can stay. Regardless, this top tower should have. Now instead, what happens? They don't take the top tower.
They lose
OG
the mid
DP's
tower.
top, and now OG's gonna choke out the Fnatic's jungle. Now the map is like restricted. It's like have nowhere to go. It feels so bad for Fnatic.
Right, we'll get the TP out with this one. No-tell is 9-0. That perhaps killing him is going to be the way back into this game because there's a lot of comeback gold to be had. This kill streak.
It's definitely like, but the thing is, like we already talked about, like how do they actually kill him? Like they don't have any catch.
Shadow Demon Disruption too as a save.
Yeah, and Naga Sleep too. Master Counter Initiation. I'm not trying to like be too grim for them. It's just like when you draft, I've had this exact problem on my teams before, where you like don't draft any catch, and you realize if you fall behind, like what's your method of comeback?
It's okay to not draft catch. I feel if you have a better.
Yes, yeah. I'm not saying you always have to have a ton of catch. It's just like if you're behind, you can't come back.
I know what you're saying. It's good to have everything, obviously both, but there's like some games where you just, you know, for example, I think Kingwin versus BG Game 3, they had like no catch. They just had Medusa Ogre, and they just sat there and farmed, and it knows better than you. Arguably, EG should have won that game, but you can. But it does make like what Flint says. It does make playing Dota harder though.
I think Swindles said something along the lines of like, doesn't matter what your net worth is if you're stunned, and it's like, but if you're this far ahead and you have no disables, they just do more damage. They're tankier.
I should try and get Medallion. Another cool thing about Naga support is it gives you Roshan. Get Riptide spell. It's a really strong -star. Oh, Naga actually.
Forget a medallion.
You could always sleep as well to disengage.
Yeah, Naga, especially on this side, like he's a free Rosh. Dire doesn't want to go down in this pit area where the ward is. If they come, like they're just gonna sleep and set up with like Pandal
Radiant's
and
middle tower
tiny
is
like.
under attack.
Their draft just looks so beautiful.
Dire's
OG.
top tower is
They
under
sleep.
attack.
They combo the tiny combo onto the Wyvern. As soon as sleep ends, Wyvern dies. Can't save. Panda just blinks and ults like whoever, the DP probably. Just bursts with shadow like the team fight on OG, like everything just looks so good.
Tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack.
Like Fnatic doesn't really have that hero to push waves. Like Envy's trying his hardest to push these waves. You can see like this Naga is like solo D pushing with this like illusion.
Dire's top
One
tower
Riptide.
has fallen.
Look at this. You see how annoying that is? That one illusion. He's
And all it's going to take is like a sleep into a tiny TP, and Weaver could just die as well. But be very careful. But OG have other ideas. They're in the Roach pit. They're looking at themselves in ages. You know, they picked Invoker. We talked about all his downsides, why he's on a hero at the start. None of that his downsides have been punished, and we're here 18 minutes in. He's going to likely have the Aegis. Maybe they give it to Tiny since it's a big kill streak, but either way,
Give it to Tiny.
Invoker's a hero now. Like, he's managed to not get punished in that first 20 minutes where the hero is not really that relevant.
But this is exactly like what Tiny wants, is the hero
Radiant's bottom tower is
that
under
insurance
attack.
policy, because even though Tiny's like top net worth, eventually Invoker's going to overcome him. The only reason he's even top net worth on Tiny is because he has, you know, a godlike streak already,
Radiant's
and,
bottom
you know, Courier goes down,
tower is
nothing
under
on it,
attack.
but he's goes hood on Weaver. This is an MV classic. That is, he has a hood, bottle, and perseverance as a hero that lacks damage, like, innately.
Doesn't want to get comboed, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I see, like, I'm not even flaming it. It's like he's backtracked almost on his build. He's like, I need some sort of tankiness. This Lincoln's not enough. And now, like, half of his net worth is regen items, honestly, if you really look at it.
This is a BSJ item purchase here. Not even joking.
Yeah.
I
I'm
really-
sure if he...
I would have gone Dragonlance. I'm not even fly. I'm not saying, like, that's actually what I would have gone.
I
But
feel you have to just go diffusal. Play-
yeah, I would have gone Dragonlance to
the way
here.
you play defensively, you're not going to win this game.
Yeah,
He
you're
needs-
not.
I felt even this perseverance was bad. I
Yeah.
felt he needed to just get diffusal.
I thought the bottle was
I
bad.
watched like this LFY Monet play Weaver, and he always just goes diffusal because this hero, like, he doesn't want to go late. He doesn't like ultra late with his 25 talent. He's like super imba, but this hero has like this power spike, and then he falls off. Like, he's really strong, and then he falls off. It's like parabola, and then upside down parabola, and then he gets really strong again.
Yeah.
And you need to like abuse when he's really strong.
It's good work. No, I agree with what you're saying.
If this Ghost comes out, is that going to be enough to turn this fight around? It looks like he's going to keep a higher level a little bit longer, but he's still going to end up going down. No Tail is destroying them. Resolution, the backlines should be dead yet. Well,
That's huge kill, actually. There we go.
Nice fight.
There's some life from Fnatic here.
yeah, it's starts okay. They get the second kill on Shadow Demon. They're just charging in and fighting with his X's, and No Tail. He may just die twice if he's
Arcane
not
Rune
careful.
Weaver is actually huge for them.
That low cooldown Shikuchi. No Tail is being ignored for now with the Aegis. And Split wearing off. S4 comes back in. They'll take down Night Stalker, and it is starting to swing back OG's way and take them 3 kills.
That's about best case scenario.
That was best.
It's good.
If there's no Aegis there, they could actually focus down the Tiny and finish him off. They're going to do that now, and it's like, oh no. Envy does have the
hood, he's
ultimate,
fine.
yeah. It's got the hood.
They don't want to waste Aegis.
Looks like Fnatic
Might
don't
actually
want to
bring down
burst. They don't want to bring down No Tail.
Underlord's
Right?
up now.
He's keeping the blink disabled with the bugs. Oh, okay, well.
Oh, Jax is just getting his
No
buddy
Tail's
out.
out.
Doesn't have a TP.
Rip Jerax.
Unless he,
Oh,
can he
Jukes.
actually hide?
No way. He's gonna bug because he had Arcane Rune. He's got this. Don't do it, Envy. Oh, there he is.
He sent an illusion out first, that may have worked.
Yeah.
Cute little play. Oh. Best case scenario for Fnatic, we feel, in some ways?
Yes. I agree.
I think OG will be better ready. It's kind of like the... It's like a little thing, you know, it's like one fight. Now they need like 3 more of those fights in a way. They're playing fast now.
Yeah, I like the Blink
Nighttime.
DP. That's a sick build. I mean, I really like Blink DP overall,
Yeah.
but especially this game because they lack catch and mobility.
Wings player, the mid player, like he was probably the best DP. He'd always go blink after you.
It's good to make sure you force fights with your ult.
Radiant's top tower is under
He just, the
attack.
hero wants to be in the middle, you know? Like he wants to be in the middle of the fight, you getting all the siphons off.
Radiant structures are fortified.
I mean, the way OG
Radiant's
have to
top
take it
tower
is like,
is under attack.
they literally just need to, now they're gonna wait for the next Aegis, I guess, or
Radiant's
just slow
top
down the game a
tower
bit
is
more.
falling.
And, they have the Naga sleep to counter initiate. So like what they should be doing is, ideally they're gonna take a fight in front of Fnatic space, and if DP ults, I feel they should just Naga sleep and disengage. And then as soon as the DP ults down, you trade basically Naga sleep for DP ult, because DPO this Fnatic's win condition. I don't think they have enough damage without it, but you negate it with literally a support.
Its entire core too.
So you sleep, you disengage with Naga, and then you just go back in after the DPO's down. And that's kind of how it
is. Oh, that was Q play. He tried to make the Invoker come out of Invis by forcing it to attack the...
They still have Aegis for a bit. They want to wait for the BK.
Bell finds DJ who does not have... Bell. Around the Rosie.
Oh, Naga goes down.
Yeah. Take kill, but...
Space for sure.
Oh, double. What's going on? X is at the bottom.
No creep wave yet.
DJ is still juking.
It's fine. Honestly, that was a lot of space, though. That was good.
Yeah.
Made that take a lot longer than it should have.
2 kills bottom, even if they're just supports into a tier 2 tower. This is...
Okay, here we go.
Silence off. Unlikely to get this split out, and...
Oh my god, 12 health, 12 HP.
That is unfortunate for them.
That's still not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, I think they need like really good though, you know? Yeah, I think they need some breath of life here. How does it work if you toss Underlord and he's like midair?
He'll still be in base.
He'll still be in base?
Yeah. That'd be insane if you could toss him from...
I just wasn't sure, like, I'm saying if he's midair while he teleports back.
That hero doesn't need to be better, BSJ.
I'm not saying that it needs to work that way, I'm just asking if it does.
I think OG should look at buying a gem soon, supporting their jungle. What they should do is like let the Invoker play the left side of the map, and the 4 of them just go bottom together. And they have Naga sleep to now no DPO. Now like without the DPO, like Fnatic doesn't really have to play.
Rizzo's there as well to help out, and Notel gets the kill.
Now this wave is pushing, so they should be able to take over this tower. Drax might be...
We go for the sleep as a setup here. Turns, doesn't commit to it.
They're just gonna let Invoker bottom alone. Flies pinging it.
About the full Solar Crest now, if Ferrex wants it.
I like this BKB purchase on Invoker. He doesn't like need fancy carry the game items. Like he will just carry it.
I doesn't have ult. He's gonna be in trouble actually. Oh, what a toss.
The Notel special.
Purge the Crimson Guard.
Potential Winter's Curse.
Soul Catcher on?
Notel BKBs just to not get screwed over by that curse.
Yeah. Doesn't look so tanky with the Soul Catcher.
Got that Underlord illusion now.
Oh, that actually, you know.
Get the aura.
Yeah, there you go.
Can they go high ground off this?
They can do a lot of damage. They have a Lacrity 90. It's a really good duo as well. Think about it.
One of the outspam with the Underlord dead is gone too, and then another toss backs. Notel's better this than any other tiny player, it feels like. Not immediately finish off DJ, but there's the toss. The first him down. On the backlines, the blinking from Arvid's Death Prophet finds
Drax coming.
Rezo, forces him to TP out, but unfortunately they don't actually get the kill. Had the blink, but not had the ability to cancel TP.
Oh, under attack.
That's actually so rough. Like, Invoker gets tanky enough, you can just TP out anytime you go on him.
Fly.
Doing the chappy city.
I bet this sets up a kill. Fly play going on.
So no DP on OG. They still have Naga sleep. Either have 2 options now. They can like wait for the Roshan, second Aegis, or they can just on high ground now again. They have a Lacrity BK. That tower dies so fast to that hit.
Going Daedalus, we saw that on no one earlier today. Daedalus tiny. Same damage output.
We're just gonna, at least for now, looks like they queue up the full link kills. Still very little damage output.
No, I feel like if the DP had a better start, like this game could have honestly turned. It's like you can kind of see Invoker's weakness as a hero. He hasn't really done much this game. Yeah. He's had a few, but the hero, it's not Resolution's fault. The hero just doesn't really do much. He needs like this high level, and I'm not sure if like the heroes in the meta right now are not good. Like probably like, Invoker's not good versus the heroes in the meta, but You can see if the DP had a better start, if they helped out mid lane, their lineup could have been really fast-paced. Fnatic, they could have roached, taken all the towers, and just snowballed the game. And they don't have much, like, real... Besides Tiny, they can't really kill this Weaver. It's tanky. But, you know, since you can see the effect of the lane, how it's having on... Still trying their hardest, though.
KB pops somewhere.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
I don't know what that was.
Just OG weighing next Roche, I guess.
He's going the Daedalus because of the Black Ready, or how did no one go? Did he go Daedalus after AC, or what?
He went AC then Daedalus, yeah. I think he just wants to burst on targets like Wyvern in like 2 hits.
I think he's going because of the Black Ready, isn't he?
Yeah, I could agree.
Oh, Fnatic tried to smoke. This is the Envy play. He loves sneaking these Roches. But they were 10 seconds too early to the Roche bit. Will they go check it again? Fortunately, Illusions are all over them. Hotel may be ready to initiate. I don't think he's got BKB because of that misclick earlier. So, yeah, still 20 seconds.
They don't know about it though. They don't.
Yeah.
It's so hard to do this for Snaga. What it should be is like OG should push bottom and top, mid and bottom, and then Naga just keeps scouting Roche, and they're basically in 2 places at once. And they have to force Fnatic back to the base, and as soon as Fnatic TP's back, which is happening now, OG can go Roche now.
Rezo was doing here, they spot out Envy and force out the time-lapse back. He could be in some trouble here.
No, OG's smart. They're gonna run now. They're gonna run back to their vision. They're gonna do Roche, and they have really good boards now. So now they know Wyvern and Underlord will be back. And the Fnatic is split.
Not only if they can test, they'll know exactly where they come from too.
Yeah. I think right now Resolution should immediately just run bottom. He doesn't need to bots there. He can maybe bots there because bot CD so, but he should be bottom right now, pushing that wave.
Yeah, so not just they've been pushing mid, but you think they need to push these.
It's like cat mouse with Roche Pit, basically, like force them to deal with other parts of the map.
Try and play the pickup game. The Sunstrike is going to be off the mark because of the toss back, but then again, they could just kill a higher.
Oh, they could do that.
They split it, anticipating like somebody behind, but Fnatic are actually just not gripped up. Like, they're split pretty heavily.
The thing is, Fnatic knows they're threatening the Roche, and Fnatic can't see anything either, so they have to throw in a hero like that.
Yeah, they're trying to steal it, I think.
Envy was kind of in position on the left side, but they're going to stop going for Roche to go for these kills instead.
He wants to blink in.
But Blink's closer with the BKB, does not get to the low ground though. Looking to buy back, and this time Fnatic, they're just charging forward, fly the target. Fnatic's Night Stalker here, they're going to switch targets to No-Tail. No-Tail's getting low.
Trying to try and sleep here.
They may need to do so.
Yeah. Disengage. Wait for the DPL to go down. Like, No-Tail can even go Shrine.
And they killed 2 supports. Rezo on the back lines. Helping make that one happen. No-Tail juggles in as the sleep wears off. And
The hood!